As Chancellor of the University of Alaska Fairbanks, I'm always pleased when our students do well. We all have our own dreams and goals, often centered around providing for our families, having good careers, and contributing to our communities. Ben Grossmann's not that different. He provides for his family, but his career is in blockbuster filmmaking, and his community is Hollywood, and that's a long way from where he grew up in Delta Junction. The story of a small-town boy moving to the big city with big dreams and failing is not this man's story. Instead, Ben worked his way up the ranks of visual effects for some of Hollywood's biggest films, including Spider-Man and The Day After Tomorrow. He's won an Emmy Award, a Golden Clio Award, and in 2012, an Oscar for the movie Hugo. Now he's the co-founder of a visual effects research and development company. He has a wife and a young daughter and all the trappings of a successful man, but he doesn't own a house in LA because owning a house there that's the place you call home. And home, he says, will always be Alaska. I'm very pleased to welcome Ben here today. He does what I hope all of you do: set goals and challenges, never stop learning, and always remember where your true home lies. Ladies and gentlemen, your commencement speaker, Mr. Ben Grossmann.
Thank you. Thank you, Chancellor, for such kind words. I'd also like to thank the members of the University Administration, the faculty, and the staff for inviting me here today to offer some words of advice and some examples of how my education here at the University of Alaska Fairbanks gave me all the tools necessary to accomplish the great things he mentioned. I have prepared this address as a very entertaining and educational 45 minutes. Unfortunately, due to budget cuts, the legislature of the state of Alaska has asked me to deliver the same value in 7 to 10 minutes. Please bear with me as I attempt the impossible and potentially fail miserably. I must first acknowledge the students' families that are here to reap the rewards of their many years of support. You may leave today knowing that you have fulfilled your duties and that anything that happens to these graduates after today is not your fault. Unless it's totally awesome, in which case it's all you. And speaking of people without fault, today is Mother's Day. I think we all owe a round of applause to all the mothers in the room. Particularly the mothers who are graduating today. Yes, yes. It is my distinct honor to congratulate the class of 2015 from the University of Alaska Fairbanks. You are the first class to graduate after marijuana was legalized in Alaska. This is an amazing accomplishment. You should give yourselves a hand for that. I've only been back 2 days, and I've already forgotten who you are, where I am, and what I'm supposed to be doing. I'd also like to recognize my littlest sister, Annie. She's 12 years younger than me, the last of all of my brothers and sisters, but she's the first one to actually successfully complete her studies and graduate with a bachelor's degree. The rest of us tried and never quite made it. I would also like to acknowledge Representative Adam Wool for his editorial in support of the importance of education in Alaska in these troubled times that you saw in the Newsminer recently. His presence here in support of the University of Alaska is an important thing for the future of this institution. So much has changed in the 20 years since I worked at Lola Tilly Commons in the dish room. I was a dishwasher and worked my way through many jobs at the university. I noticed at the UAF website today, there is actually a virtual reality tour that can fly you from building to building on the UAF campus with little pop-up students that are very helpful and tell you how to get things done while you're at UAF. Now, when I was a student here, the internet came in 2 colors, black and green. You had to go to a dedicated computer room that we affectionately called the Node if you wanted to sext your fellow students. Forget smartphones. We didn't even have dumb phones. We had dial-up rotary phones. By the time I left, someone had finally managed to cobble together a website for the University of Alaska, and the font was Comic Sans. But today, there is a student graduating named John Henry who has attended the University of Alaska Fairbanks and will be receiving his bachelor's degree, and he did so remotely from Panama. That is quite an accomplishment. Yes. I say this to indicate that so much about the world around you will change in ways that you don't even see happening until you stand where I'm standing and look back at what I'm seeing and see how much the world has changed. Let me give you an example. Imagine in the year 1903, not too much earlier than this institution was founded, just imagine that a baby girl was born. On that same day, the Wright brothers took off from Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, and lifted the feet of humanity off the ground and took flight for the first time. Now, flash forward, and that little girl is probably still slightly younger than most of the people behind me. And by that point, we had built a spaceship that took us to the moon and got people out of it who put their feet down on another celestial body, all in the span of one lifetime. That happened in her lifetime, and something similar will happen in your lifetime. You can be a part of whatever that change can be. By the time you come back to wear this robe and stand where I'm standing, the world may be unrecognizable, and it should be because of something that you've done. Hopefully positive. Some of you may now be leaving to serve your country. And for that, be confident in our gratitude for your selflessness. Some of you may be leaving to serve your fellow man as volunteers or in the Peace Corps. Your dedication is an inspiration to those of us who have and a blessing to those who have not. Some of you may retreat into the comforting womb of postgraduate studies. Your time will come, and you can't hide forever. Regardless of what you're doing now that you leave college, if you think you're done with teachers and tests, I'm here to tell you you are wrong. I want everybody to take an opportunity to look to your left and look to your right. Everyone around you now becomes a teacher. Admittedly, most of these people will be demonstrating what not to do, but that is by far a much more important lesson than telling you what to do. Never assume that anyone knows the right way to do anything, particularly if they look official. But always show them respect as if they do, because one day that person will be you, and you'll wish somebody gave you the time of day to explain your position. But the television will not teach you anything of use. I know because it's my job to put things on television. We have strategy meetings about how to keep you dumb, and how to make you afraid, so that we can sell you things that will make you feel smarter and more safe, and make ourselves wealthy in the process. We are very good at it. We have spent decades learning how to do it, but do not fall for this. The only advice of ours that you should take is let it go. Let it go. And don't sing that song anymore, please. Become a creator, not a consumer. In 50 years, no one will remember the name of the person who bought the most shoes on Amazon. But if you cure cancer, your grandchildren will go to spring break on a Mars colony named after you, getting hammered on drinks that are molecularly sequenced from your blood, sweat, and tears, having arrived on a spaceship called the USS Your Name Here. I know you can do this because you are graduating from the University of Alaska Fairbanks, a land, sea, and space grant institution with 7 major research units. If you're graduating with a degree in science, technology, engineering, or mathematics, you really could not have picked a better school. And if, like me, you've pursued the liberal arts, philosophy, art, political science, education, by attending UAF, you've increased your chances of marrying someone with a degree in science, engineering, technology, and medicine. But you've also received everything that you need to get to the top of your game in those fields. I know this from experience. No matter what your degree, by attending the University of Alaska Fairbanks, you have affirmed one critical and important fact that no one in Harvard can claim. You are an Alaskan, and now you will always be an Alaskan. You won't appreciate how important that is until you leave Alaska and travel the world. You will come to find out that your head is completely in the clouds because you have been raised without a densely packed society over your shoulder telling you the right way or the wrong way to live your life. While you've been making your path here in Alaska, Mother Nature has been consistently trying to kill you. It is not safe or natural for human beings to be out at -50, but that has not stopped you from bar hopping or riding your bike to class or just going out for a breath of fresh air. You are now adept at being responsible for your own survival in the face of bears. Bears! Mother Nature has kept your feet on the ground, and the University of Alaska Fairbanks has put your head in the clouds, and that makes you a little bit taller than everybody else. There is nowhere else in the world you can be exposed to such a rich history and culture as Alaska's native heritage. And nowhere else can you attain such a strong appreciation and respect for the environment as you have here. With that much opportunity, I believe that you can become the next President of the United States. And if you act quickly and you work hard, I believe you can get to the Oval Office fast enough to issue an executive order that will forever eradicate your student loans. Possibly before you have the chance to even pay down on any of the principal. And if you can do that, please remember the little people. But if you do get into politics, under no circumstances should you become a Republican or a Democrat, because our political system is far too important for the future of our nation for us to allow a handful of selfish interests to pit us against each other in a red versus blue sporting event. This is a distraction from legitimate issues. Thank you. Yes. Yes. This is a distraction from legitimate issues that we can only solve by working together. We need to face each problem with an open mind and an eye towards resolution. Solving these problems, not change, is progress. Be attracted to the impossible. Be attracted to the words you can't. I've made a career out of doing things that people told me I couldn't do. So you can find a way, and I know you can, to say, yes, we can do this. Even if it means changing the question that you were originally asked, there is always a way to say yes. Don't worry about what you're going to do or how you're going to do it. First, discover why you want to do something. If you can answer why you're doing what you're doing, then how and what fall naturally into place. You almost don't even have to think about them. And when you figure that out, infect other people with the passion that drives you. Because teamwork is the only way to do great things. I get credit for movies that I work on. The reality is 800 people work under me, alongside me, above me, on making those movies happen. You didn't bring yourself into this world, and it is unlikely that you will bury yourself on the way out. So I humbly suggest that you try to make some friends while you're here. Surround yourself with people that are smarter than you, who are better than you, and be helpful to them. This is the best way to rise to the top. Empower everyone around you to be greater than they think possible, and they will challenge you to also become better with them. If you look around and you find yourself to be the smartest person in the room, then I hope you're in an outhouse. And while you're helping people, always be helpful to the people less fortunate than yourself. You will see these people on your way to the top, and you will see them on your way back down. No matter how hard you try, at some point in your life, know that you will be less fortunate. And when that day comes, you will get back everything that you gave away, so be generous at every single opportunity. Work hard. Do not accept things the way that they are, but embrace that what you do in life will also never be perfect. No job will ever be completed. Everything will only be as good as you could make it before time and money ran out and they take it away from you. But if you work hard and you never give up, it just might be good enough, and someone might give you a gold trophy for your efforts. Learn to take pride in doing good work, but don't go looking for recognition. You will never find it. Trophies find you, and they are only attracted to vision and hard work that follows it up. I can thank my time at the University of Alaska for all of mine, because I learned everything that I needed from the great people here, many of whom are here today in the faculty still. I worked at the Rasmussen Library in the Alaska Polar Regions Archive in the basement, among many other jobs. I would go to work before the sun came up, and I didn't finish until the sun set, which basically meant it was a part-time job, half day. One day, shortly after I started, a gentleman who's no longer with us by the name of Marvin Washington passed through a room that I was in. And he stuck his head right back in the doorway, and he looked at me and shook his head disappointedly. And then he said the words that I have never forgotten. He pointed a long finger at me and said, "You need to get off your lazy ass and get to work." And I just didn't forget it. Marvin reminded me of that fact several times a day for all the semesters that I worked in the basement of the Rasmussen Library. I might even be studying for finals in the Wood Center, and Marvin would walk by disappointedly and tell me I need to get off my lazy ass and get to work. One time I was sick of hearing it, and I accused Marvin of not knowing the meaning of hard work. Marvin taught me a lesson there on the spot. He said, "Oh, is that how it is? Because when I was your age, I was picking cotton in a field in Georgia in the hot sun with no shade every single day, 7 days a week, using only my bare hands. So tell me I don't know the meaning of hard work." I'm here to tell you today that Marvin was right, and that hard work is the single biggest defining characteristic behind any vision or any passion or any endeavor that you can undertake after you leave this university. It's not enough to know what needs to be done. It is only enough to do it. Thank you. Thank you. And most importantly, never forget how fortunate you are to have what you have right now. So many people have overcome adversity and never feel sorry for yourself because you've got no one to look at but yourself. The tricky part is to accept that you are also going to fail. You have to fail. In order to do anything great, you must fail, and you must not be afraid of failure. The responsibility of dealing with failure is to overcome it. You don't take any risks if you don't fail. The secret to great success is to fail quickly and quietly. Fail, get right back on your feet, and fail again if necessary, if that's what it takes, but get all that failure out of the way with hard work, and then start winning. Because the truth is, I failed at what you're doing today. And in my last semester, I failed to get my bachelor's degree. So you're already way ahead of me, and I have every faith in you. There are a lot of diplomas on these tables that we need to hand out, and there's a world of opportunity outside those doors waiting for you to leave your mark, so let's get started. But before we do, let me take a selfie. Thank you.